Intro. I'm excited. I hope you are. Even during these chaotic times, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Mind you, it's not a freight train barreling down on you. We are still in the pandemic crisis. Over 500,000 Americans have lost their lives. That's more than all the wars Americans have ever fought. Texas is in shambles. Millions of people lost power and water for days on end. It seems to me we are having serious problems to fix. This is a book on conscious economics. I believe to change society, we must all individually change. We can't change the world if we don't change ourselves. Many of the planet's most serious problems are currently swept under the carpet. We slowly work on the issues at hand. We talk about changes, yet as a whole, we aren't 100% committed to it. Currently, we have been living and pursuing the American dream. We want a huge house, an incredible car, a job that pays millions. We can go on vacation anywhere in this world. We are all consumers. We get bombarded with advertising. If you only had this, this will make you happy. From the moment go, we were taught this. If I only had this toy will make me happy. If I could only have a yellow Ferrari, I would be on top of the world. My life would be so incredible. Yet, your Ferrari will only bring temporary happiness. When I worked for the Miami Beach Police as a software engineer, a friend of mine had a yellow Ferrari. He took me for a spin. That car is the most bumpiest car on the road. I could literally feel every single bump on the road. I laughed to myself. This car costs thousands, yet I would never want it. It causes so much discomfort. The modern day world is all about consuming. That's how being a consumer works. This is the business model. It's been that way for a long time. I remember in the 60s a vacuum cleaner would last for around 50 years. Today, we have planned obsolescence. Companies want a product to expire so you can upgrade it. Look at the cell phone industry. If you don't have the latest, your friends will mock you. Wow, you're still using that antiquated device? Did you come from the dinosaur era? The housing industry is the same. My wife and I like to watch Householders International. So many people won't buy a house if it doesn't have the up-to-date current styles. They show perfectly fine kitchen cabinets ripped out and thrown into the dump. The countertops aren't made of granite. Let's throw them away. We are a throwaway society. We have a part of the ocean the size of Texas filled with nothing but plastic. There is no end in sight with this madness. 50 years ago, a great teacher said, "We are sawing off the branch we are sitting on." As a modern society, we are consumers. We are in touch and in harmony with Mother Earth. The Earth is only here to let us consume its resources. We help in causing global warming. We're slowly trying to solve the problem. Unfortunately, or fortunately, every human being on Earth has to take responsibility. We have limited resources. You can't chop down all the trees in the world and expect to survive. We can't continue polluting precious water and think future generations won't get affected by it. The following is part of an article from Indigenous Americans, spirituality, and ethos. The cosmic visions of Indigenous people are significantly diverse. Each nation and community has its own unique traditions. Still, several characteristics stand out. First, it is common to envision the creative process of the universe as a form of thought or mental process. Second, it is common to have a source of creation that is plural, either because several entities participated in creation or because the process as it unfolds includes many sacred actors stemming from a first principle, father, mother, or grandfather, grandmother. Third, the agents of creation are seldom pictured as a human, but are depicted instead as wakan, holy or animal-like, coyote, raven, great white hare, etc., or as forces of nature such as wind, breath. The Lakota medicine man, Lame Deer, says that the Great Spirit is not like a human being. He is the power. That power could be in a cup of coffee. The Great Spirit is no old man with a beard. The concept perhaps resembles the Elohim of the Jewish Genesis, the plural form of Elohai, usually mistranslated as God, as though it were singular. Perhaps the most important aspect of indigenous cosmic visions is the conception of creation as a living process resulting in a living universe in which a kingship exists between all things. Thus, the creators are our family, our grandparents, our parents, and all the creations are children who, of necessity, are also our relations. And in an ancient Azawi Zuni prayer song states that our Earth Mother may wrap herself in a fourfold robe of white meal snow. When our Earth Mother is replete with living waters, when spring comes, the source of our flesh, all the different kinds of corn we shall lay to rest in the ground with the Earth Mother's living waters. They will be made into new beings. Come out standing into the daylight of their Sun Father to all sides. They will stretch out their hands. Thus, the Mother Earth is a living being, as are the waters and the sun.
I once had a grand teacher who said, meditation is perfect concentration upon a perfect point. How elegantly said. Imagine the mind is like a tuning fork. Whatever it touches, it vibrates at that frequency. Have you ever felt that material happiness is finite? Imagine the car you've always dreamed of, a yellow Ferrari. In the beginning, it brings you so much joy. You take all your friends around the block for a spin. Day and night, you are satisfied. One day, you notice that a little dissatisfaction has entered your door. Day by day, your yellow Ferrari becomes a hassle. How many times to the shop? I need an oil change. My brakes need changing. The transmission just went out. Everything material wears out. Material happiness will soon lead to pain. Does this mean we can't enjoy the comforts of life? Do we have to live a life of a hermit? How can we live in this world and live in absolute joy? Meditation brings the individual to the center of the hurricane. The winds of change are blowing, yet perfect calm resides inside. This is your true state. Absolute joy, total bliss. Your mind is vibrating with the word of life. In our search for life, we make it so complicated. We work our life away thinking that money will buy happiness. Empty trinkets of life. We are so busy that we neglect our very own children. And yet, when we realize the fact, time has slipped away. Empty trinkets of life. We own a nice house and an outrageous car, but does harmony or chaos exist? We have time for pondering 1 day a week. We put our $5 for an offering, but do we ever think? If Christ would come back, we would do the same act as before? Years later, we hoped in the next go-around we would learn from our mistakes. Are we so caught up in our daily routine that we miss out in the miracle of this life? Has the secret been shown to us and we've thrown the diamond on the ground? We say to ourselves a real diamond would never be given like that. In the end, we come and we go. But do we truly know the beauty of this life? Life is precious. Know why you are alive.
Conscious. The definition of conscious is as follows. This is from Webster's dictionary. Having mental faculties not dulled by sleep, faintness, or stupor, awakened before conscious after the anesthesia wore off. Perceiving, apprehending, or noticing with a degree of controlled thought or observation. Conscious of having succeeded, was conscious that someone was watching. Personally felt, conscious guilt, likely to notice, consider, or praise. Bargain conscious shopping, being concerned or interested. Budget conscious businessman, marked by strong feelings or notions. Race conscious society, done or acting with critical awareness. Conscious effort to do better. Capable of or marked by thought, will, design, or perception. Self-conscious or caring, sharing another's knowledge or awareness of an inward state or outward fact. Our conscious state reflects our current state in life. The outside world is a reflection of our inner world. When truth becomes fiction, and fiction becomes truth, is a sign that we have lost our ways. When anger, mockery, hate, revenge, and storming the Capitol building is acceptable, something is astray. A person can't have true discrimination and wisdom when our chemistry set inside is totally off balance. Just think, one shot of being angry produces over 1,500 different kinds of stress chemicals into the body. That's just one instance. Many people in our society live where they can't turn the faucet of adrenaline on. The majority of people who are directly involved in the riot probably live in that toxic state. A calm and kind mind is needed today. In that state lies kindness, love, patience, and tolerance for others. This is why it's our social responsibility to maintain a kind chemistry set within. Your conscious awareness or lack is a direct reflection of how you act in this world. It's a one-to-one correlation. We were never taught this in school. Our happiness is dependent upon external events going our way. Life is always changing and working. Nothing is stable. Everything evolves. Our society at large thinks the other person or group is wrong. Both sides are talking about the same thing, yet have a different perspective. Both sides want a better future for our children. The first step, truly, for society to get along is to be conscious and aware. Our subconscious, 95% of the time, is driving the show. We are conditioned so much that we automatically reply unconsciously to any given situation. If our subconscious holds the majority of thoughts and emotions that contain hatred, anger, intolerance, revenge, and all sorts of negative emotions, this is what gets carried out in your life. We have seen this in our leaders. If one's subconscious is filled with love, compassion, patience, tolerance, and the infinite myriad of positive thoughts and emotions, this is what manifests in your thoughts and actions. I say quite frequently that we have the opportunity to live in the center of the hurricane. This means no matter how crazy and chaotic the world is, one can live in the center of the hurricane. The chaotic hurricane force winds of the external world can't affect you. Looking at the videos of the riot, I can 100% guarantee you they weren't living in the center of the hurricane. A mob contains chaotic actions which leads to violence. For thousands of years this has been going on. This current age is no different. We must progress in the video game of life if we want to survive. The East has mapped out the various levels of the video game of life. Ponder these over. Is life truly a video game? Is there a purpose for being alive? Is there an instruction manual? Most religions have one. They all lead to the same place. Yet we must be conscious in every moment to live by them. If we don't, I guarantee you that our subconscious will be stealing the show. We won't even be aware of it. We will be completely oblivious to it. The following is James' perspective on the video game of life. I quite like it. "14 video game stages of spiritual development." Jainism acknowledged that the soul advances to its liberated stage in various steps called Ganastan, or stages of spiritual development. Through these 14 stages of development, the soul gradually frees itself, firstly from the worst, then from the less bad, and family from all kinds of karma and manifest the innate qualities of knowledge, belief, and conduct in a more and perfect form. Here we take a glance at each stage of spiritual development. Dharma, dhyana, or righteous meditation plays an important role in climbing each stage, and the external austerities like fasting, giving up tasty food, etc. helps in supporting meditation. The goal is to reach the highest type of meditation, Shukla, dhyana, and liberation. This sounds to me like a cosmic video game that I constantly talk about. 1. The stage of the wrong believer. The lowest stage with ignorance, delusion, and with intense attachments and aversions. This is the normal condition of all souls involved in the mundane world and is the starting point of spiritual evolution. 2. The stage of one who has a slight taste of right beliefs, indifference to reality with occasion vague memory of spiritual insight. 3. The stage of mixed belief, fleeting moments of curiosity towards understanding reality. 4. The stage of one who has a true belief but has not yet self-discipline, awareness of reality with trust developed in the right view, combined with a willingness to practice self-discipline. The soul may be able to subdue the four passions, namely anger, pride, deceit, and greed. 5. The stage of partial self-control. At this stage, the right view and discipline starts to develop. The soul now begins to observe some of the rules of right conduct with a view to perfect itself. But the discipline of introductory or minor vows, the soul starts on the process of climbing the spiritual ladder. 6. The stage of complete self-discipline, though sometimes brought into wavering thought and negligence. Major vows are taken with firm resolve to control passions. There may be past failures due to lack of full control over passions and carelessness. 7. The stage of self-control without negligence. At this stage, the self-discipline and knowledge develop more. The intense practice of vows assisted in better self-control and virtually replace carelessness with spiritual vigilance and vigor. 8. The stage of one in which the passions are still occurring in a gross form. The stage of one in whom the passions are still occurring in a gross form. Closer to perfect self-control over actions, higher control over the mind, thought, and passions, with the soul ready for reduction of the effects of conduct-diluting karma. 9. The stage of higher control over the removal of passions and the elimination of conduct-diluting karma begins. 10. The stage of one in whom the passions occur in a subtle form but complete elimination of all passions except for a subtle degree of attachment. 11. The stage of one who has suppressed every passion but still does not possess omniscience. Suppressed passions and lingering conduct diluting karma may rise to drag the soul to lower stages, fleeting experience of equanimity. 12. The stage of who has annihilated every passion. This is a point of no return. All passions as well as conduct diluting karma are eliminated. Permanent internal peace achieved. No new bondage from this point onwards. 13. The state of omniscience with the physical body. The all-destructive karma eliminated and the Aryan stage reached. The perfected soul is still trapped in the physical body, due to the presence of remaining non-destructive karma. The Lord Ernath now preaches others the path of liberation and helps seekers show the path to cross the ocean of rebirths and reach the safe shore. 14. The stage of omniscience without the physical body. Siddha state reached, and the pure soul, after destroying the remaining non-destructive karma, attains nirvana and reaches the abode of the liberated soul. Now the soul is free from the cycles of births and deaths and enjoying infinite bliss.
Economics. The definition of economics is as follows. This is from Webster's Dictionary. A social science concerned chiefly with description and analysis of the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. Economic theory, principles or practices, sound economics. Economic aspect or significance, the economics of building a new stadium. Economic conditions. Our industrial nations have an insatiable desire of consuming countless goods. Unfortunately, it is endless. Our systems are built in short term, not the long term. Profits are to be made at all costs. Unfortunately, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. I remember about 6 months ago I saw this interview with a major drug manufacturer. He said, the goal isn't to cure people. The bottom line is to make profit for the shareholders. The earth is used to take as a commodity. This is the Western view. During the Wild West days, when the building of the Trans-Union Railroad was being built, tourists would use shotguns and kill thousands of buffaloes. They had no relationship with Mother Earth. The buffaloes were just a commodity. They didn't even use the buffalo in any way. They just killed for the sport of it. The indigenous, when they killed a buffalo, would pray and thank the buffalo. They would pray to Mother Earth. There was an honor in the killing. They never took more than they needed. They didn't kill for the sport of it. Our current system is built upon companies making profits and give them to shareholders. It is a profit-based system. It doesn't care for the welfare of the planet. We don't plan for the future and the consequences of our actions. Our only goal is to make profits. Look at the stock market. It's all about the present projections. If a company doesn't exceed expectations, it will get dinged by the public. It's all about making money. I remember working for Charles Schwab and saving the company a huge amount of money. Yet during the recession in 2009, anybody who worked on that project got laid off. They made tremendous profits that year. Once upon a time, they were one of the best companies to work in the world. This slowly changed over the years. Currently in America, no job is secure. The unions once who were powerful are no longer around. In Europe, workers are an integral part of being on the board of directors. In the United States, this isn't the case. This is from USA Today. The 3 richest billionaires in the US are measured by the annual Forbes 400 rating, now own more wealth than the bottom half of the nation's population combined, according to the report by the Institute for Policy Studies, a research organization focused on inequity issues. There's something wrong with this picture. This is from Quartz. The average U.S. worker needs 10 times the length of all human history to earn as much as just Bezos. Indigenous Americans, spirituality, and egos. This is the indigenous view of economics. This is a quote from the following source. Juan Matus, from Carlos Casanava's Journey to Excellence, captures very well the attitudes of many native people. You don't eat 512, you eat one. You don't damage the plants just to make a barbecue. You don't use and squeeze people until they have shriveled to nothing, especially the people you love. This kind of attitude is found over and over again in the traditions of native people, from the basketry and food gathering techniques of native Californians to the characters in the stories of Anne Lee Walters, as in her novel, Ghost Singer, The Stories of the Sun is Not Merciful, or in Talking Indian. The following story sums up one of the major problems we have in economics today. It's from an article from MedPageToday.com. It's official. Curing patients is bad for business. Milton Packard describes the end result of profit-dominated drug development. Pharmaceutical companies are developing new drugs in only 2 therapeutic areas these days: cancer and rare diseases. Why? These are the only therapeutic areas where exorbitant prices is tolerated by payers. How exorbitant are we talking about? Most new drugs for cancer and rare diseases are being priced above $400,000 a year per patient. Some drugs are being priced at $1 million per treatment, and prices continue to soar. Who loses from this pricing practice? You might think the patient with cancer or with rare diseases is most likely to suffer. But this isn't true. To cover these exorbitant costs for even a small number of people, payers slash their expenditures in other therapeutic areas, and these cuts affect millions of people. For example, instead of agreeing to pay for the best treatment for diabetes for $1,500, payers approve the use of a second-rate treatment for $75. Physicians are not good at challenging payers, so most patients will get the second-rate treatment. So the patients who lose the most are typically those who do not have cancer or rare diseases. Actually, nearly everyone else loses when a company's price a novelty drug at extreme levels. Last week, things took a turn for the worse. According to an article by Tim Kim on CNBC, Goldman Sachs issued a report by Salving Richter that suggests that drug developers might want to think twice about making drugs that were too effective. Richter's report, entitled The Genome Resolution, was issued on April 10th, and says, the potential to deliver one-shot cures is one of the most attractive aspects of gene therapy, genetically engineered cell therapy, and gene editing. However, such treatments offer a very different outlook with regard to recurring revenue versus chronic therapies. While this proposition carries tremendous value for patients and society, it could represent a challenge for genome medicine developers looking for sustained cash flow. The translation: if you're developing a new drug that cures people rapidly, then patients would not need to take the drug on an ongoing basis, and that limits the amount of money a company can make. The analyst asks, is curing patients a sustainable business model?
We are all visitors to this time, this place. We're just passing through. Our purpose here is to observe, to learn, to grow, to love, and then we return home. Our spirituality is a oneness and an interconnectedness with all that lives and breathes, even with all that does not live or breathe. Being Aboriginal is not the color of your skin, on how broad your nose is. It is a spiritual feeling, an identity you know in your heart. It is a unique feeling that is difficult for non-Aboriginal to fully understand. So I take this word, reconciliation, and I use it to reconcile people back to Mother Earth so they can walk this land together and heal one another, because she's the one that gives birth to everything we see around us, everything we need to survive. We cultivated our land, but in a different way from the white man. We endowed to live with the land. They seem to live off it. So I was taught to preserve, never to destroy. This earth I never damage, I look after. Fire is nothing, just clean up. When you burn, new grass coming up. That means good animals soon. Might meet ghana, possum, wallaby, burn them off. New grass coming up, new life all over. The land is my mother, like a human mother. The land gives us protection, enjoyment, and provides our needs, economic, social, and religious. We have a human relationship with the land, mother, daughter, son. When the land is taken from us or destroyed, we feel hurt because we belong to the land, and we are part of it. Land is a central part of the connection to country and to identity as people. Many of our significant sites, landscapes, customs, and stories focus on connection to land. Land is therefore very important to our culture, history, and future. From time immemorial, we believe, as our Aborigine people, Australia has been here from the first sunrise. Our people have been here along with the continent with the first sunrise. We know our land was given to us by Balami. We have a sacred duty to protect that land. We have a sacred duty to protect all the animals that have an affiliation with through our totem system. Once you learn these 8 harsh realities of life, you'll be much stronger. The Aborigine sunrise ceremonies are very special to our people. It starts when the sky is black, beautiful black. When the sun's yellow circle arrives, it turns the sky red. This is why the Aborigine flag is half red, half black, with a yellow circle in the middle. At the sunrise ceremony, I meditate and ask the Great Spirit for direction. My hands fill with electricity. I touch you, and you feel it too. I heal people this way. My grandmother did that too. I learned all about that when I was a young fellow. Umbara, the black duck, is a special totem of our tribe, the Yuin. We learn to respect the elders who hand on the law. The elders guard the law, and the law guards the people. This is the law that comes from the mountain. The mountain teaches the dreaming. Racism is a disease in society. We are all equal. I don't care what their color is or religion. Just as long as they're human beings, they're my buddies. The more you know, the less you need. Traveler, there are no paths. Paths are made by walking. To us, health is about so much more than simply not being sick. It's about getting a balance between physical, mental, emotional, cultural, and spiritual health. Health and healing are interwoven, which means that one can't be separated from the other. At the sunrise ceremony, I meditate and ask the Great Spirit for directions. My hands fill with electricity. I touch you and you feel it. I heal people this way. My grandmother did that too. I learned all about this when I was a young fellow. We learned to respect the elders who hand on the law. The elders guard the law, and the law guards the people. This is the law that comes from the mountain. The mountain teaches the dream. Those who lose dreaming are lost may as well be here. We are as where we are. Keep your eyes on the sun, and you will not see the shadows.
Apathy. The definition of apathy is as follows. This is from Webster's dictionary. Lack of feeling or emotion, impassiveness. Drug abuse leading to apathy and depression. Lack of interest or concern, indifference, political apathy. This is a major problem in our society today. We know we are sawing off the branch we are sitting on, yet we continue doing it anyway. Our present economic model can't be sustained. It will lead to our demise. We need Mother Nature. Mother Nature does not need us. We are ignorant of this fact. We are wearing blinders, mostly because this is what we are used to. I thought with the global epidemic that we would wake up from our slumber. This would be a wake-up call to humanity. We had an administration that mocked wearing masks and said the problem would be over in no time. Yet, over 500,000 have died so far in the United States. The current administration is trying all it can to solve this enormous problem. It seems like in many cases we are behind 4 years, with the old administration removing many policies from the Obama administration. This includes pulling out of the Paris Accord and the Iran nuclear deal. We have many problems we have to face. Time is ticking away. Yet we can face these problems, and hopefully we can start the transformation process. The following is what I wrote about apathy this month.
Apathy. The definition of apathy is as follows: lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern. When it comes to man discovering the jewel within, apathy is there. When the great teachers told you to be aware of your breath at all times, apathy
is there. When the mystics and scientists say, you are the universe, apathy is there. When one says, you are never alone, apathy is there. Man is more interested in his football games than the secrets of the universe. Look at the roaring crowd rooting for their home teams. What a buzz of energy is in the air. Yet, we have a total lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern for the unknown. I find that quite fascinating. Signposts to God all around, yet we could care less. This human body is hardwired to discover God within, yet a football game gathers great enthusiasm, while the unknown seems boring. No wonder humanity is in such a mess.
Chop down the trees. I use the expression, we are sawing off the branch we are sitting on. Common sense is uncommon. Throughout the world, in the name of progress, we are cutting down the lungs of Mother Earth, especially in the Amazon forest. Not only does this affect climate change, but affects the entire ecosystem of the world, all for the name of progress. To change our mindset and awareness must change. The entire world needs to be on the same page for the change to occur. Yes, this is extremely difficult, but our survival as a species is dependent upon changing the course of our actions. Remember, Mother Nature doesn't need us. We need Mother Nature. We are destroying the lungs of the planet. How would you feel if someone took out your lungs?
I read in the newspaper just the other day that a whole grove of redwoods will be chopped down. The owner says, give me $2 million and I'll save those trees. Who really is owner of the land? We think we own the world's resources. Can we really barter this earth to the highest bidder? You can buy this planet for $1 trillion. Where will we go? That's your problem, not mine. I'm rich, and by God, I'll take what I want. Have we progressed at all?
When Charles Darwin came up with his theory of evolution, his predominant theme was cooperation upon nature. He mentioned only a few times survival of the fittest. Yet all around the world today, the world has embraced survival of the fittest instead of cooperation. You see this everywhere. There is a winner and there is a loser. This is how you look at things. People lie and cheat to win. Winning is all-encompassing. It doesn't matter how you win, but the goal is to win at all costs. Many Olympians use illegal drugs to give them a better advantage. Your politicians will run negative campaigns to win office. Only the best will get high-paying jobs. It seems like your entire world is built on stress. It's built on competing. Only the strongest will survive. There are around 30 companies which control the economy of the entire world. They hold power over billions of people. These people can make or break nations. Yet Darwin discovered that nature cooperates with each other. For example, Nature provides to you oxygen, and you provide carbon dioxide. When nature cuts off your oxygen, then you won't be alive. There are forests today whose trees have roots where they are all united together. They don't fight and bicker with one another. They are in harmony. Nature is cooperating with each other. If you want peace on earth, one must learn how to cooperate by discovering your true nature. You will over time learn how. Your emotional mindset must change from survival of the fittest to cooperation. You see, it first begins in your mind. Your mind has been trained in the other direction. Even young children need to learn this. They have a toy and hold on to it for dear life. The parents teach the child to share the toy. Some eventually get it, while others never learn that basic lesson. You see, when we're out of harmony, the basic true human emotions are lost. You have fleeting glimpses of your true nature. It comes and goes. You're true to build a foundation of ethics without understanding your true nature. I'm amazed what the majority of people have developed on your planet. Without a foundation, majority of people try to lead good and decent lives. They love one another and cooperate with each other. These are exciting times. We can do great things together when you and I cooperate with each other. We can solve any problems on earth when we talk and sync with each other. You must learn to listen to your heart. You must learn to listen to your intuition. Your intellect will never comprehend me, but your heart can. Learn how to merge your intellect and your heart together. By doing so, you'll be able to be in harmony with me. You have been so distant for ever so long. How many times a day do you ever think about me? How many times a year? Have you ever thought about me? This is one reason why we have so much chaos in the world. If you aren't in harmony with nature, then your actions won't be in harmony. This will create a snowball effect. Multiply that by billions of people on your planet, and you get what I mean. Your mind is cloudy. Dust is on your inner mirror. You think everything is all right. Humanity is skimming the surface of the ocean of life. Your goal is to dive deep with the ocean of life and discover your true nature. The entire universe cooperates with each other. There's harmony among us. You have the opportunity to be in sync with me and the entire universe. Ponder this over. Cooperation is the foundation of life. You are the crown of creation. Yet at this present moment, you have not lived up to this. You are my custodians, keeping care of all my creatures. Do you remember that? What have you done? You would be sued by your Creator for your neglect. Except you have free will and free choice. God and I don't judge you. We may give hints and pointers along the way. We have only pure love for humanity. This pure love resides inside of you. We think it's crazy that there are poachers in this world, killing animals for money. How dark can you get when a person is oblivious to the light? His actions can be totally insane. and that's why it's called a black market. It seems like everything can be killed for or bartered for when it comes to mind creation. As I said in my last message, you're dumping trash into your living room. How crazy is that? Yet you are oblivious to that. You are unconscious that humanity is sawing off the branch it is sitting on. The only way to clean up the mess you created is to discover your true nature. You must once again discover me. We must walk hand in hand together. It's your choice. It's your free will. You see, darkness can only go so far. The light is beginning to shine. The sun is arising on your planet. The faster you embrace the light, the faster peace will come unto the earth. Only you can change. I can't do the work for you. That's why it's called free choice. You're at the level in the video game where you're tired of the darkness. You don't like the craziness of the world. You're tired of war. You're tired of the bickering and fighting for thousands of years. This is the point when you start to wake up and advance to another level. This is the point where you become more mature. This is the point where you can learn from your past mistakes. When a human being realizes that he has an internal garden, he begins to start to take responsibility for it. Day by day, he holds the weeds and takes care of the garden. He waters his garden with love, patience, and kindness. He begins to be aware of his direct connection to me and to God. He begins to realize that we have always been there. You have just been asleep. When one begins to experience the divinity within on a moment-by-moment basis, his life will turn around. This is why we say, you are a piece of the puzzle. Your piece is needed in the puzzle of life. Mankind made a conscious decision to go to the next level. Many people thought you were going to blow this planet up. This is not the case. You see, you might not be aware that human consciousness made a decision to embrace the light. Since 2012, you've seen so many dark events. When the light comes into the picture, darkness has no place to hide. You see this in all areas of life. These are exciting times for the planet. In a short time, maybe a billion years, you will stop and realize that 2012 was a major marker for humanity. You're about to be morphed and changed into something so incredible. You are like the butterfly. Presently, you are the worm who is building a cocoon. Someday, humans and I will be one. We will be aware of the entire universe. That will be the day. Presently, this is only a dream that this will happen. You are reaching for the stars. Enjoy the next levels of the video game of life. Remember, this video game will go on forever.
Children working in mines. Imagine today this still exists. Around 10,000 young children working in mines in Madagascar. They work 12 hours a day, 7 days straight. They don't get no breaks. They make pennies a day, around $5 a week. They mine precious metals where companies like Panasonic can use. Without this precious metal, they could not make their products. Panasonic says they have no idea that these young children work in such conditions. CBS interviewed these children. Most of them were around 6 to 8 years old. Something has to be done about this. China is also using this metal. Personally, I think they should be sued for billions of dollars. The children should be co-owners of the mine. They should get proper education. A trust fund should be set up for them. They then could use this fund in the future. This money could be used to help the young children.
Work. Learn to share its sacred treasures. Nobody should ever die of starvation. Clean water is deserved by all. A decent house for all living beings. Education is a birthright. Teach a person how to fish in life. Train them for a decent job that will pay their bills. Humanity must learn how to take care of this precious human body. We are being indoctrinated by Big Pharma. They're making huge profits for the world being sick. Share the wealth. Trickle down does not work. Why should 1% have more wealth than 99% of the population? It seems like a subtle feudal system is still in place. We replace kings with CEOs. Why are wages so stagnant while the rich get richer? Something is amiss. The teeter-totter is way off balance. Man needs to see we're all in the same boat of life. We are all in the same journey in life. We all can stop wars. Fighting is obsolete. We have the internet to truly communicate in seconds anywhere in the world. News can be broadcast in seconds. We have the intelligence to make this world a grander place. What we need is a combination of the heart and mind. Once man truly understands this, we can solve any problems. Both the mind and heart is essential to solve any problems. Look at our political systems. They can't even compromise. They constantly point fingers towards each other. Like, why can't we pass a decent health care bill? Millions of people desperately need it. If Congress had our medical plan, they would solve this problem. Same goes for Social Security. They raid the funds and then say that the fund will run out of money sometime in the future. It seems crazy to me. We need our leaders to be like King Solomon. He knew the difference between the heart and the mind. He was wise. Maybe our leaders should learn a lesson from him. From what I've seen from the Western experience, if I can't see it, then it can't be real. Or I didn't learn that from school, so it must be false. We're so conditioned that our reality comes from our five senses. Everything else is probably a figure of imagination or hallucination. If a blind man would tell us the world doesn't exist because I can't see it, we would all laugh. Yet as a society, we are acting like a blind man. What is it in man's nature he wants to know? But at the same time, when the truth is shown, he turns his head in the opposite direction. Are we so materialistic that we have forgotten? I've said many times that American Indians couldn't quite figure us out. We figured we could own all the land, and still do. They have a completely different understanding of the universe that we do. To this day, Western man has failed to see the truth. Yet our modern day scientists are discovering and uncovering mysteries of life. They are learning from the so-called indivisible. Yet it takes a long time for our society to integrate those experiences. Each one of us has their own individual lab to discover the mysteries of life. Years ago, man thought it would be impossible to send pictures and sound via the airwaves. Nowadays, we spend hours a day watching the tube. It's time for us to expand our horizons. Your mind is an incredible instrument. I have thought of inventions before they even existed. You have the same capability. Dream about the possibilities of you experiencing your Creator. In the end, we just have to shift our mindset. We don't know all the answers. We will never stop learning. Trust that you have inner senses that are waiting to be explored.
Magnets are the future. Over 33 years ago, I saw this demonstration at a friend's house. He had a gyroscope and magnets. With a slight push of electricity, he started the gyroscope. He then unplugged it. The magnets kept the gyroscope running. His goal was to put it in a car. After he got the car up and running, he wanted to put it on a plane and fly it around the world. I never heard what happened to this incredible project. Recently, I hear all sorts of whirlwinds about the potential of using magnets. Someday, they will make present-day batteries obsolete. Imagine that electricity could be developed from magnets. You would have to be dependent upon the grid. If the grid went down, you had your own source of electricity. This will happen. I once had a discussion with a friend, and he told me that thousands of years ago, man used pure and perfect energy in everyday devices.
Man's vision of paradise is Kmart on the parking lot. We buy, hoping that someday we will be complete. How can we own land when this earth is such a blessed place? God does not collect rent. If he does, we would have been driven from our homes a long time ago. We come and conquer, and we think we are so smart. We have sent man to the moon, so therefore we have all the answers. Yet our life is still incomplete. We are so arrogant that the answer can be staring us in the face, but we refuse to listen. Even God himself would come. We would ridicule him. How much money do you have, dear God?
Nonviolence, the economy. Here's an expert from Forbes magazine. Billionaires are getting richer during the COVID-19 pandemic while most Americans suffer. Billionaires are not in the same boat with the rest of us as we try to navigate the treacherous currents of the COVID-19 pandemic. They're smoothly sailing in luxury yachts while most Americans are doing the doggy paddle, treading water, and just trying to stay afloat. According to the Institute for Policy Studies, billionaires' wealth has moved while over 26 million people have filed for unemployment since mid-March. The percentage of taxes paid by billionaires has fallen 79% since 1980. From the start of March to now, the group of billionaires' total wealth has increased by $308 billion. Billionaires boast a combined net worth of $3.229 trillion, and their collective wealth skyrocketed up 1,130% between 1990 and 2020. Just 8 individuals, all men, own as much wealth as the poorest half of the world's population, Oxfam said on Monday in a report calling for action to curtail rewards for those at the top. There is no common sense in the world of economics. The economic world is rigged for the rich, pure, and simple. Billions of people are barely surviving. The rich get richer, and the poor get poorer. Even during the global shutdown, the rich continue to make a huge profit. Millions of people are out of work and can't pay their bills. This world has to change for the better. We need politicians who truly love humanity to be in office. This is the violence of the highest order. Whoever in Congress that voted to give a tax break to the rich should be voted out of office.
$10 million years from now. Wow, a lot has happened since 2012. That was a turning point in human history. As we saw in the last chapter, all of humanity lived in peace and harmony. They discovered the jewel in life. They were one with the universe. After a period of time, give or take 1 million years, they were presented with a new mission. They didn't have to accept this mission. Remember, they have free will. The mission was to help jumpstart another planet along its journey in life. There was a new planet that was the new kid on the block. They had the building blocks to support life. Humankind was asked if they wanted to help and assist along the way. Just like the planet Earth got existence from the stars, this planet had the same opportunity to assist. This planet was around for over 1 billion years or more, so the foundation was already set up. Help and existence was already there. But here's the kicker. They wanted the humans to help and assist future humans on this planet. They wanted to have their DNA for these new humans. I think you get the picture. Inside of these new humans lie their parents and the secrets of the universe. Imagine this world going through the same struggles we did. The same darkness had to be overcome. War, poverty, and greed would have to be overcome. The same craziness. You even had the same kind of old masters coming down to try to help humanity. The rules were simple. They had free will. They would decide ultimately whether they blew themselves up or find the puzzle within. I don't mean to be dramatic, but that's the truth. You might say, how is this possible? How could humans on Earth help someone this way? Well, when you are the sun, moon, and stars, you can be anywhere. You can lie inside the DNA of man. Isn't that incredible? The hide-and-seek game goes on forever. We can partake in this game and help another world in discovering themselves. Yes, it takes time. We have all the time in the world. Remember, you are eternal. Remember, the signposts are all around. How would you like to help set up the signposts in this brand new world? The signposts can only be seen by the pure in heart. Great teachers and nobodies will come upon the land, helping man to discover his true nature. As you know, the planet Earth had a great journey they walked through. Many people thought back then that Earth didn't have a chance. Well, think again. Against all obstacles, man overcome these obstacles and found the puzzles. Humans are very kind and compassionate. They love the idea to help transform another world. So with the same care they received from their parents, they had the same care for their children. They had unlimited love and compassion for this planet. They didn't judge. Remember, God and the universe do not judge. But they gave small and helpful hints along the way. They provided guidance, much like a coach. They couldn't play the game for you, but they could give incredible advice. Slowly, the journey of life continued. 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards. Man learns in every step he takes. They had the same battles of life we did. Nobody gets a free ride. Yes, there were moments when nobody knew if they were going to survive or not. But slowly, man was waking up one by one. This took a good million years. It was quite the Greek Odyssey. Homer, he would have been proud. This was quite the journey. It lasted over 1 million years. They didn't blow themselves up. As a matter of fact, they became one with the universe. They solved the puzzle of life with a little help from our friends. Wink, wink. You and I were there as proud parents. The entire universe gave a standing ovation. You see, eventually all children leave the chicken coop and fly into the sky. In this case, the stars. You see, another journey, another world needs our help. We would never have it any other way. We are the universe, and we know it. We are all united by the thread of love. When I worked for the observatory in Maui, we had to recalibrate many instruments in order for them to work properly. Does man get recalibrated and isn't aware of it? Is this a new recalibration of man? Is the entire universe watching in suspense? Will there be peace on earth? Is the earth recalibrating for man, discovering his true nature? The journey of life is going on. The rules have changed. The old energy of war is going away. People are fed up. Watch the recalibration of man. We will bring peace to this planet.
Reset button. It seems to me like this entire world was pushed a reset button. At this point, everything has changed in only a week. Everything is shut down. Is this a blessing in disguise? Take a moment and embrace gratitude in your life. Slow down. You have no choice. What really matters in your life? Open your window and listen to nature. The birds are singing sweet songs to you. Nature is alive, even in a big city. But for once, just breathe and feel the sweetness of breath. It is calling you. Behind your breath lies the universe. You are magnificent. Take this time to truly slow down. Humanity has been on such a fast track. We can't see the forest from the trees. Listen to music that calms your soul. You have been living in such a stressful life. It's time to unwind. Discover your true nature. The reset button was pushed for a reason. Take advantage of it. Peace lies right between your eyes.
The Law of Calibration. To understand this law, one must first understand that everything from the sun to the moon and the stars, everything changes, shifts, and transforms. Nothing is static in the universe. Everything changes. Your body is alive. Your cells are constantly going through the process of being born, living, and dying. Nothing stays the same. Your mind is constantly moving. The emotional state is constantly changing upon your different modes of emotions. We are driven by our thoughts, habits, and emotions. To recalibrate means to constantly begin to shift and transform our awareness towards the highest potential. Day by day, we begin to use all the laws and rays and begin to use them in our daily life. We begin to drop our old destructive energies and begin to use our mind, body, and soul to enhance each and every moment. Much like the metamorphosis of the butterfly, we begin to change in every level and become a human being. We merge the mind and heart and truly become a human being who drops the old destructive energies that mankind has allowed for thousands of years. Day by day, The law of recalibration allows us to transmute our old destructive energies and transform them into something we can't even imagine at this point in time. Built into our DNA lies the potential of mankind. This life is meant to be lived where we fine-tune ourselves moment to moment in all our actions. We live in a state of being in a reactive mode. It's very easy to react. It's very difficult for one to stop, ponder, and not respond in an interactive way. If someone says something you don't like, it's very easy to get super angry and burst out with words that are destructive in nature. The wise man plays life like a master chess player. Before she even speaks, he looks and ponders his move towards transmuting the situation into the highest good of all. She looks 5 steps ahead, just like a master chessman, and sees the necessary steps of action to take place. He or she is a master of life. This skill is a day-to-day learning effort. We must learn to recalibrate our daily actions from the old energies to the new. This is a spiritual person making conscious efforts in each and every moment. It takes time. It's not easy, but the journey is one small step after another. We don't leap and get there. We will stumble and fall, and yet we will learn so much along the way. We can't convert our old destructive ways of doing things and change for the better. This is built into our DNA. So much of our society is socially driven artificially. We adore our movie stars and pop stars, yet we forget how precious life is. We live so much driven by a culture that has forgotten the true values of being a human being. Can you imagine a planet of human beings who live in a state of bringing these laws and rays into fruition into each and every moment? I would say that would be heaven on earth. Built into our DNA are the codes for us to tap into. In order to achieve this day by day, we must be conscious, aware of our actions. This life is an incredible game. We haven't seen anything yet. The game of transforming life, this planet, and yourself begins with you. It always was and always be. Peace on earth will happen. It depends upon each and every human being to take conscious responsibility. It's a fun journey when one begins to consciously calibrate on a daily basis. These laws and rays are in your DNA. This is truly who you are. This is not a religion to live by. This is our true state of existence. We are truly infinite. We all shift in different ways. Each one of us will drop our own destructive energies in different ways. People who smoke will begin to see practical ways to stop smoking. They may see that in order to change something, you must replace one habit with another. They may learn how to meditate or take a walk when the urge comes up. Each one of us can learn to look at our own destructive ways and begin to shift. Awareness is the key. Our society is advertising driven. Coke and Pepsi is cool to drink. McDonald's commercials are everywhere. Did we ever see a commercial on a simple thing as a fruit and vegetable? We have lost our way. GMOs are everywhere in our food. When one begins to recalibrate, one understands that the true temple is our human body. It feels good to nurture our body. Our body constantly speaks to us, yet most of the time we ignore it or we aren't in touch with it. The key is awareness. We must be more aware than what is presented on our TV. Our movies constantly reinforce ways of being that are in the past and don't serve us any longer. What I'm trying to say is that by bringing in the reins back to yourself, you will be in total control, not some random commercial on TV. You will begin to take responsibility for your life and actions. You will take actions to be happy. You will take actions to exercise and eat good food. You begin to meditate and experience the joy inside of you. You begin to start not being reactive when people are angry around you. You begin to be aware of your body and listen to it. You begin to learn patience on a moment-to-moment level, and each and every moment you will learn how to be consciously recalibrating, adapt, and change for the better. We will stumble and fall. That's part of the game and learning process. This is truly the game of life. This is probably the most important game you will ever play because it's your life. Only you can change yourself. People can help you, but the changes begin with you. You are the main character in this game. Man will recalibrate weapons to destruction, yet man never recalibrates himself. Such is the dichotomy of man. How long will it take for man to realize that the keys to life lie within? Weapons of destruction only bring destruction, yet the key to life brings peace to the planet. The answer lies within. Only you can open the door within.
We are just in the beginning stages of the corona crisis. May we all have the will to recalibrate. We can do this. We are not stuck in our ways. Humanity can and will change. It's just a matter of time. The perfect opportunity is at hand. Nature has provided us the time to stop us in our tracks. Only time will tell.